Tonight, Ben Shapiro is back with me, and joining us now, talk radio host John Fredericks and CNN contributor Jason Kander. Welcome to the panel. Ben, welcome back. Jason, I'm going to start with you. President Trump says he wants to unite our country, but then he says stuff like this. Watch it.
I always hear about the elite. You know, the elite, they're elite. I went to better schools than they did. I was a better student than they were. I live in a bigger, more beautiful apartment, and I live in the White House, too, which is really great. I think, you know what? I think we're the elites. They're not the elites. So the point is, and I didn't want to bore you because you understand where I'm coming from. You people understand. But the point is that those were three different. There were two statements and one news conference. The words were perfect.
So, Jason, it's a fascinating message. I mean, really think about it. From a New York billionaire who lives in a tower to a base of supporters he calls the Forgotten Americans, and it's very powerful, and they love it. How did you respond to that?
Well, Donald Trump is a man who was born rich, believing he's a victim. He's a man who looks at what happened in Charlottesville, sees a woman be murdered, and says to himself, I'm the victim here. So everything about him is sort of casting himself in a victim mode, and often I think that's because he believes, often rightfully, that people in America won't blame the victim. And so when he's not doing a good job, and when the media, for instance, reports what he's doing, and he's not doing a good job, he figures he'll cast himself as the victim, and then it's very hard to blame him. It's his way of avoiding responsibility. It's sort of like a movie critic who decides to make a movie, and it turns out it's really bad. And that's because you can't make a movie by criticizing people, just like you can't lead a country by complaining all the time.
Well, so how do you go, John, from I love the uneducated to we are the elites?
You know,
and I live in. By the way, I know some wealthy people. They don't talk about people who are really wealthy. Don't talk about how much money they have, and people who are really smart don't talk about how smart they are. But go on.
I guess Jason is now a psychoanalyst, psycho-babble, mumbo-jumbo, something about what Donald Trump thinks in his deep psyche. Look, you guys have no sense of humor. That was funny last night. You take his style and you get all caught up and your panties get in a wad. He's having fun last night talking to his base, the people who helped elect him president, that don't trust the media, they don't trust what you guys say, and they don't trust the elites in Washington. And so what he was saying is, hey, they think they're elite, they want to tell us what to do, they want to run our life, they've sold our jobs out, I'm going to unify the country. At the end of the day, we're the elite because we really understand what's going on. That's what he was saying last night.
Well, John,
so
let me just say
babble,
this.
It's like, it's just
let me say this.
laughable.
And
this
Jason,
is why you guys are going to lose again.
Jason can defend himself.
Again,
listen, don't put. It's not you. Don't put me in the category. I'm not a partisan.
the Democrats are going to lose again.
Okay, I'm not a Democrat, so don't put me in that category.
The Democrats are not you, the Democrats.
Number two, listen, maybe you wear panties. I don't. So if your panties get in a wad, then that's your business. But I don't wear panties to get in a wad.
We got to have a sense of humor about this, man.
There's no sense of humor if you are a person who he is speaking, if you're a member of the media who's in the back of the room and he's calling you a terrible person and saying that you don't care about America and you don't love America and you may be a victim, possibly a victim of violence, that's not funny. If you are a transgender person who has served this country with honor and distinction and he is thinking of kicking you out of the military, there is nothing funny about that. If you are a person, hold on, if you are a person, no, yes, I am being fair. I am being fair because he is, yes, I am. Let me finish. If you are the President of the United States, at every single moment, what comes out of your mouth matters to every single person in this country. And it is not funny when you are making fun of people and you're possibly putting people in harm's way of violence.
Don, it's actually possible for somebody to be humorous and do a decent job at the same time. It's not mutually exclusive. It's not like the President of the United States can be charming, but if he is, he has to be really bad at being president. I mean, he could actually do both things. He's just not.
The first rule of comedy is that it has to be funny. It wasn't funny.
Well, it wasn't funny to you. He had a rally last night. He had a good time. He's talking to his base. You don't like his style. He has two audiences. One audience is the international people, Americans at large in the media. The other audience, he was at a campaign rally last night talking to his base after he had a disastrous day on Monday with his base, where he went back on his word in getting us out of these wars. Neocons took over.
Was
We're
that
back
funny?
in Afghanistan. No, it isn't. But he made a serious speech. But I'm telling you what, Don, his base on Monday was infuriated by that. Then he goes to the rally, he throws out the red meat.
Yeah.
This is politics. I'm telling you, Donald Trump is going to win again because the great unifier is jobs, wages go up, economic prosperity, 3%
All right,
growth.
I want to get Ben.
He's going to get elected again.
Ben, go ahead, please.
Well,
Help me out
I mean,
here.
I think that what you saw in his rally last night was that President Trump is great at two things: the art of opposition and trolling. And that's basically what that rally was last night. So he's really good at finding something that all Republicans dislike, which is the media, right? The media, we don't like CNN, we don't like MSNBC. This is just true of conservatives. And so he takes that and he says, okay, unify around this. You can't unify around my policy. You may find me kind of weird. You may not like McConnell. You may not like Ryan. But we all dislike the media, so we can do that together. And then he says some things that are funny. I thought the elites comment was funny. Says some things that are outrageous, like people in the media aren't patriotic, knowing that people in the media are immediately going to turn it up to 12 on the Richter scale.
But Ben, don't you
And
think he
then
should be
he's going to
truthful
say
in his
that-
comments, even if he's funny, and if you give
Yes,
him
of
that,
course.
shouldn't he be truthful? And he wasn't.
Of course. And I think that this is where the media, here's my advice to people in the media. My advice is turn down the emotion down to 1 and turn the fact-checking up to 10. Because I think what's happened here is that the amount of fact-checking that's gone on has taken second place to the offense that people in the media are taking at his words. And I think that the problem is the American people have to know that what the media are trying to do is defend them from untruth, not defend themselves from insults. And until the media start making that distinction, a lot of people on Trump's side are going to think that this is just a rock'em sock'em robots between Trump and the media. They may not like either one, but they find it kind of amusing.
I'm glad you've come on CNN twice in the last week or so, even though you don't like us. Thank you.
Hey, no, I love you, Don. You're the best.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, John. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that. Coming up.